Mr. Program Director, my name is Rebaone Notoane. I'm not Rebecca. Ke simolle ka go tsaya tshono e, ke leboge Morola Marapo, ke dumedise tonakgolo ya province ya rona, Re Lazarus Mokgosi, baeng ba rona ba ba tlotlegileng, baamogedi ba rona ba thuso ya go ithuta, bomme le borre dumelang. Tshetlhana e eme mo seraleng e katogile monyo ka leina ke Rebaone. Ka leina ke Rebaone Notoane, mme ba ba ntlhaloganyang ba mpitsa Kgosigadi gonne ke morolong ke mmina tshipi, ke setlogolo sa bakona ba ga Setšhele. Ke setlogolo sa bakona ba ga Setšhele ba ba tlhagang fa Molepolle fa. Ke mmina tshipi e gaitang hatshe e be sa re ting e re to. Ke re se re go mpona bosesanyane wa nyefola mphate boboko tla mpona sentle. Bagaetsho a ke se latswe bobe botlhogoputso ba retse moyeng go roga re je. Mme gompieno ga nkitla ke nna molele. I'm just gonna take you back on how I came to be the woman I am today, and I would like you to walk this journey with me. I'm gonna take you back to July 2015. It was a very cold winter morning when I received a call from my teacher. Her name is Memotsumi. She used to teach me Setswana. It was around 6 a.m. when I received that call, and I was deep in the blanket. Ke utlwa a re, Rebaone o robetse. Tsoga ke re meme ke ya kae? A re Premier is coming to Kudutlong. He's coming to launch what was known as Setsokotsane. So yes, I'm the first, or should I say an ambassador of Setsokotsane. Clock it. Our then premier was Mr. Supremahoma Belo. He was launching what was known as a Bursary program that was called Setsokotsane. It was launched in a very small marginalized village in the outskirts of Bagamaidi. It's called Kudutlong. So because I asked my cousin to accompany me. This field. It was a very huge field. It was filled with a lot of tents, different tents where there was different career exhibition. And the first thing that caught my attention, it was Motsweding FM. And there was a red tape that restricted students from entering the other side. I remember telling my cousin, FM. And he was like, Rebaone, you're too ambitious. I was like, watch me. And there I was. I walked to the Motsweding FM. When I got there, the students they were excited. And there was a reporter that was coming out of that van. And as I peeped, there was Melindiwe Modise. Oh my God, I love her. And I was starstruck and I was so excited. And I told myself, ke sa tsena mo veneng ke batla go bona gore mme Modise o gasa yang ke ntse se kana se leng gore wa se dira in the studio, because I've always aspired to be a radio presenter. So I stood there. So bana ba sekolo ba phatlalala, they went to various tents and I stood there. I asked the reporter, can I kindly get in the van? He was like, no, students are not allowed. An hour passed. 2 hours passed, I was standing there, it was freezing. I started crying. And as I was crying, as the reporter was coming in and out, Memodise Wampona was like, hold on, this student has been waiting there. What's happening? Call her in. And guys, I went in. Please clap for me. I got that van. And I was so starstruck. She was like, "Hi, you are so beautiful. What is your name?" I said, "My name is Rebaone Notoane." And she immediately went on an ad break and she was like, "Tell me about yourself. You look very interesting." I started telling her about myself and that I want to be like her one day. And she was like, "Rebaone, I am going to give you 10 seconds. 10 seconds. I want you to sell yourself." There might be someone who's listening right now. Guys, I sold myself like my life depended on that 10 seconds. It only took 10 seconds for me, for my life to change entirely. While I was selling myself, I convinced the listeners how all I want to do is to go to school and change my life and change the situation back home. And I was very intentional about everything that I said. But as I recall on that moment, I remember how God was in the detail. Because the wisdom that I was altering that day, I don't know where I took it. As I was busy selling myself, 2 businessmen entered the van. Kanti they were in interview again. The businessmen they were listening. And they were like, "Rebaone Notoane, we are inspired by your story. Can we please sponsor your matric dance?" And I'm like, "Oh, okay." It's like, "Okay, all right. And before you write your exams, we would like to take you on a weekend away just to debrief and be okay mentally before you get into exams." Guys, I was still digesting that. How ke setse ke re ke tlhauna dikgang tse di monate tse mopremiri wa tsena Re Suprama Humapelo. Ka Setswana sa gagwe se se tlhapileng se se tlhololo a ntebella ka monyebo a mpolelela gore ke wena Rebaone nkutlwile Notoane. A re a waitse gore I had to leave stage ke tle go bona gore ke mang ke lentswenyana le fe le lennyane le le buang mo radiong le. So ne go na le di-speakera mo grounding ele. Kante the premier was listening. He was like, "Rebaone, on this moment, take a pen and paper, write down your names. Right now, I'm giving you a bursary. You're going to study." Sure. Even today, I still don't know how I got to that moment. Cool. Thank you. Ga gona sepe se se ka tlholang se nconvince gore Modimo ga teng. God is always in the details, and God is very intentional. You just have to know what you want, and you need to set your mind to it. I received the bursary, and in a second, the premier held my hand. We were surrounded by reporters. All of a sudden, I'm being interviewed, and I am trying to understand go diragetse eng. Fast forward, that year I studied, and I managed to obtain distinctions. I became one of the best candidates in Dr. Ruth Mompati. I went to study Bachelor's of Arts in University of Witwatersrand. I studied BA in Political Sciences and International Relations. After completing my studies, I went to serve my bursary obligation at the Department of Arts and Culture. I got an opportunity to work with Mr. Vessels. Hi, Mr. Vessels. I got an opportunity to work with him. After that, I went back home, and I also, there was this lady who I used to follow on Instagram, and one day I DM'd her. I was like, "Can you please be my mentor?" Her name is Sibulele Sibatla. She's an NGO specialist. She traveled the world. She worked for the African Union, the United Nations, because I've always wanted to be a diplomat and a humanitarian. He was one person that aligned with my journey. So I took. Guys, nna ke motho le go tsaya di-chance, ke a mo DM-a. Ke re, "Can you please mentor me?" And she agreed to mentor me, and I found myself in spaces like C20, G20. Last year, I was one of the cluster coordinators for 3 working groups. And unfortunately, Trump happened this year. This year we were supposed to be flying to USA, but it happened. I'm back home, but then I decided to carry on with my foundation, Unkutlule Kgosigadi, just as a way of paying forward, you know. I want people to look at me and remember and recall and know that they belong in rooms like this. Because ga go bonolo go tswa taung o sa itse sepe, o sa itse le gore ditoro tsa gago o tlo go di tlhelela jang. Jaanong ke batla gore bana ba ko gae ba ntebelele ba ba bona tshepo, ba ntebelele ba bone motho e leng goreng o ile a tsaya tshwetso ya go bona gore go botlhokwa gore a lwele ditoro tsa gagwe. Ebile go baeteledipele ba rona ke re ngwana sejo wa tlhakanelwa, ebile se dikokeng tša pedi ga se thata. Tonakgolo ya rona ke lebogela matsapa a la tsayang go netefatsa gore ngwana wa moAforika o lwela ditoro tsa gagwe, ebile ngwana wa moAforika o tswelela go lwanela botshelo jwa gagwe mo dipharagobeng tse di diragalang mo botshelong. A re dule re na le tshepo, ebile re itse gore sengwe le sengwe se e leng gore o tsenye megopolo ya gago mo go sone o tlile go se itlhelela. Bagaetsho, aluta continua. I'm Rebaone Notoane. Thank you.